After the Tournament of Power, our friends would be leading normal lives. Goku would be working in the field, since he had promised Milk that he would work for a long time until he brought enough money home. Oh, what a bore. I would like to be training instead of having to work, Goku would say, bored. Suddenly, Goten would arrive flying. Dad! Dad! Goten would shout from afar. Son, what's up? Goku would ask, worried. Trunks called me and told me that a time machine appeared, Goten would say. How so? Goku would ask. Yes, it says that a time machine appeared out of nowhere, but that there was no one inside. Bulma is checking it. Goten would say. I'll go investigate. Goku would say. Do me a favor, don't tell your mother anything that I left, okay? Well, okay, Goten would say. Goku would change clothes, putting on his combat uniform. Are you gonna train? Goten would ask. I don't think so, but I have to be ready in case I meet someone very strong, Goku would say. Well, okay, Goten would say. Goku would use teleportation. Capsule Corporation would arrive. Bulma would jump out of fright by surprise. Idiot Goku? Furious Bulma would say. What's wrong with you? Confused Goku would ask. You can't appear out of nowhere like that. You scare me. Bulma would say. I've told you a lot of times that you can't appear out of nowhere like that. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, Goku would say. Now what do you want here? Bulma would say. I came for the time machine, Goku would say. Who told you? Annoying Bulma would ask. Goten told me it's not for you to bother so much, Goku would say. That little brat of my son surely told him. I told him not to tell anyone, furious Bulma would say. Why? What's the problem? Goku would ask. Nothing. I just want to study the time machine, Bulma would say. But Beerus said no time travel, Goku would remind her. Hey, I'm just going to study it. I'm not going to travel in it. Come on, Bulma, remember Beerus's threat, Goku would say. After everything that happened with time travel, Beerus forbade the use of this machine. I know, I already told you that I'm not going to use it, just study it, Bulma would say. And speaking of that, how did he appear out of nowhere? Goku would ask. I don't know. He appeared alone in the backyard, but there was no one inside, Bulma would say. Perhaps Trunks tried to come from the future but could not enter. And how do you know they didn't want to come from the past? Goku would ask. It's a good point, Bulma would say. That's why I need to study it. Bulma would begin to check the machine to find out where it came from. It would take a few hours while Goku got bored waiting. Come on, Bulma, you can't be slower, Goku would say. Shut up, I'm almost done, Bulma would say. Ready, I did it. Let's see what this says. Bulma would carefully analyze the computer data. She would notice something strange. I can't believe it, Bulma would say. What's going on? Goku would ask. According to this time machine made too many trips, Bulma would explain. What are you talking about? Goku would ask. It seems that someone has used it and has traveled to different times and has created several timelines, Bulma would say. This is a chaos and Beerus will kill me. Don't worry, we just destroy it and that's it. You never know, Goku would say. I think it will be the best, Bulma would say. Many timelines have already been created. We have to finish this now. Goku would enter the time machine and sit inside. What are you doing there? Bulma would ask. I just want to see if I find something, Goku would say. Suddenly, the top door of the time machine would close, and it would act on its own. Goku would travel in time against his will. Upon arriving, he would find himself at the Capsule Corporation, but it was much smaller. Damn, I don't even know where I am, Goku would say. It must be from the past because this house looks like the Capsule Corporation from when I was a child. Dr. Briff would leave. He would see the machine and be confused. "This has the logo of my company," Dr. Briff would say. "Hello, Bulma's dad," Goku would say. "How do you know my daughter?" Dr. Briff would ask. Goku would be invited to go to the corporation and explain everything to Bulma's father about the time machine. "Amazing! My daughter will be a genius then," Dr. Briff would say. "What I would like to know is if I could fix it. I have to go back to my time," Goku would say. "I don't think that's that easy," Dr. Briff would say. "From what you tell me, this machine will be built in a future later than yours, so I don't have the necessary technology to make it." "I can't believe it," Goku would say sadly. "Besides, it's my daughter who created it, and she's still 14 years old," Dr. Briff would say. "Wow, that does sound bad," Goku would say. "Yes, you must not have the same knowledge as the Bulma of your time. I will do the test, but it will be somewhat difficult," Dr. Briff would say. "By the way, have you ever seen a boy with my hair and this clothes?" Goku would ask. "Well, no, I've never seen him," Dr. Briff would say. "Then I ask you please not to tell Bulma anything about this," Goku would say. "What are you talking about?" Dr. Briff would ask. "Time travel creates different timelines, and that is forbidden by the gods," Goku would explain. "Just don't comment on any of this. So the future of my version of Bulma here is still in progress." "Yes, I understand you. No problem. I won't say anything," Dr. Briff would say. "But you'll have to hide this time machine. Can't you hide it from me?" "Not of course. My daughter will find it sooner or later. She is one to check the things we have here a lot. I couldn't hide it from her if I wanted to," Dr. Briff would say. "Heavens, I'll have to take it somewhere," Goku would say. "Okay, I better go. See you." Goku would use teleportation and disappear with the time machine. "How did he do that?" Dr. Briff would ask. "Well, it doesn't matter." Goku would arrive in a mountainous area, far from all kind of civilization. He would have to hide the time machine. "Damn, maybe it's not even broken, but I don't know how to use it," Goku would say. Suddenly, Goku would notice something strange in the distance. He would see a little boy on a road holding a giant fish. "That boy sounds familiar to me," Goku would say. "It's me," Goku would say, terrified. Little Goku would cross with Bulma's car. This would almost crash him, and everything would happen as he remembered. "I can't believe it. This was how I met Bulma," Goku would say. "I have to get the time machine out of here. If myself from that time does something different, I will create a totally different timeline." Suddenly, Goku would feel an unusually strong ki. "It's not true. That presence is from Frieza," Goku would say. Goku would use teleportation and get a few meters away. Frieza was in his basic form. He was with a great army. "It's not possible," Goku would say. "Great Frieza!" "Should we start looking for the Dragon Balls now?" Kui would ask. "How soon will it be better? If those balls exist as they told me, I can ask for my wish for eternal life," Frieza would say. "It's done. Everything will go wrong," Goku would say. "If I show up with Frieza and his men, I will change the story. But if I don't, damn it, Frieza will go for the ball that Bulma has and kill her." All Frieza's soldiers would be ready to leave, but Goku would present himself to them. "Enough, Frieza," Goku would say. "Oh, what do I see? It looks like we know each other," Frieza would say. "Great Frieza! He seems to be a Saiyan," Kui would ask. "Nonsense. All Saiyans were eliminated," Frieza would say. "Also, he has no tail. I am a Saiyan raised on Earth, and I know you because I killed you in the future," Goku would say seriously. "Future? Of course," Frieza would say. "Soldiers, finish him!" All Frieza's soldiers would throw themselves at him, but by trying to attack him, they would not do him the slightest damage. "If you want to live, get away from me," Goku would say.
all the soldiers would move away and attack with a ki beam at a distance. But Goku would not receive the slightest damage. "It cannot be," Frieza would say, that by recognizing Bardock, he would find the great look-alike. "Bardock is still alive? Bardock is my father, and you killed him a long time ago," Goku would say. "So what the future is coming from is not so wrong," Frieza would say. A Frieza soldier would throw himself at Goku, but by trying to attack him, Goku would leave him unconscious when he hit him with the edge of his hand on his neck. "He defeated him with a single blow," another soldier would say. "Everyone, attack!" Furious Frieza would say. The soldiers would throw themselves at Goku with everything, but he would defeat them in a short time. He would leave each of them unconscious in a single blow. "I cannot believe it! What level of power does it have?" Frieza would ask. Frieza would use his radar, but by trying to measure Goku's fighting power, it would explode. "This thing has gone mad," Frieza would say. "Allow me, Great Lord," Zarbon would say. Zarbon would use his radar, but it would also explode. Dordia would go through the same. His radar would also explode. "I do not understand what is happening," Dordia would say. "Radars can measure up to 500,000 fighting power. That means that this subject exceeds that power." Furious Frieza would say, "Great Frieza! It means that he can surpass his power." Zarbon would say. Frieza would attack Zarbon's shoulder with a ki ray. "Do not say nonsense," Furious Frieza would say. "You compare a mongrel Saiyan with me? If you have doubts, come find out," Goku would say. "Damn it," Furious Frieza would say. Frieza would throw himself at Goku. He would reach him with a punch, but Goku would hold him without any problem. "The difference in power between you and me is abysmal. Although you use your transformations, you cannot do anything against me," Goku would say. "It will be better if you give up and leave this planet, or I will not answer me." "How do you know about my transformations?" Frieza would ask. Goku would release Frieza, and this would move away from him. "From what you say, it really comes from the future," Frieza would think. "That means I should use my last form. I cannot trust this guy." Frieza would use his last transformation, unleashing all his power. "Now you will pay with your life for defying Emperor Frieza," Frieza would say. Frieza would throw himself at Goku. He would attack him with a rain of blows. But Goku would receive all the attacks without receiving any damage. "It is not possible," Frieza would say. Goku would hit Frieza's stomach. This would be on his knees. He could not move. He barely managed to breathe. "That blow was very powerful," Frieza would think. "I want you to take your ship and get out of here. Realize that this never happened. Forget about Earth. It was clear?" Goku would say. "I will not go empty-handed," Frieza would say. Frieza would support his hands on the ground, but before he could do anything, Goku would kick him under the chin. Frieza would be fired far away. He could not move. "Forget how treacherous and ruthless it can be," Goku would say. Goku would disappear Frieza with a ray of ki. The cold demon had died. Zarbon and Dordia would take the ship and they would flee from there. But Goku did not feel relieved. "Damn it, I ruined everything," Goku would say. "Now that I changed the order of time, I created a different timeline. Everything will be different and it's my fault." Goku felt very guilty for everything that was happening. Apparently now, everything would go very badly for the Saiyan. Goku was worried. He not only did not know the reason why the time machine had appeared, but he had also altered the order in the timeline in which he arrived. "Damn it! And now what will I do?" Goku would ask. Wait a minute, it's true. Who changed the story for Frieza to come here so early? It wasn't me, it was someone else. Goku would have to discover who had been the cause of everything, but he did not have many clues to investigate. Goku would sit in a meditation position. He would concentrate his spirit to try to feel the ki of someone powerful. He was looking for someone strong who did not correspond to that time. But after a long period of meditation of more than 40 minutes, he would not find anything. Damn it! So, I can't do anything? Goku would say. The night would begin to arrive, and Goku's stomach would give notice of the hours he had not eaten. Damn it! I'm hungry! Goku would say. Goku would go to the lake. He would hunt a huge fish which he would cook. After finishing eating, he would fall asleep in the open air. Suddenly, something would wake him up. A slight step would call his attention. Goku would put himself on guard, attentive to being interrupted by his sleep. Who is there? Goku would ask. Alert. Damn it, he woke up! Supreme Kai would say. Supreme Kai, it's you! Goku would say. And you too, Kibito. Who are you and how do you know us? Supreme Kai would ask. I don't know how to say it. It's complicated. Goku would say. It will be better if you speak now and explain that ship that distorts reality. Kibito would point out the time machine. That is a time machine, and I come from the future, Goku would say. Supreme Kai and Kibito would look at each other in perplexity. That explains a lot of things, Supreme Kai would say. It wasn't so difficult to explain it after all, Kibito would say. I don't know who you are, but traveling in time goes against the multiversal rules, Supreme Kai would say. Look, it's not my fault, Goku would say. The time machine appeared in my time and I traveled by accident. Now I'm in trouble because someone else made a change before I arrived. I don't understand, Supreme Kai would say. I mean, Frieza got here, Goku would say. That meeting shouldn't happen until at least 15 years from now. We're here because we found out that Frieza was looking for the Dragon Balls, Supreme Kai would say. Although I still don't know if we can trust you. Come on, I'm a friend of Lord Beerus, Goku would say.
The god of destruction, Goku would say, and of his angel, Whis. Lord Beerus? Supreme Kai would say. Angel? Kibito would say. Damn, it's true that you don't know any of that. Goku would say. Goku should explain to them everything he knew about how they met him, Majin Buu, the appearance of Lord Beerus and Whis, and the Tournament of Power. Also about Zamasu. And clearly, what would make them understand that Goku was telling the truth was the story about the old Supreme Kai. Do you say that the old Supreme Kai sleeps on the Z-Sword? Supreme Kai would ask. I don't believe you, Kibito would say. Well, show me the Z-Sword and you will know, Goku would say, determined. Don't trust him, he's immortal, we have no idea where he came from, Kibito would say. For some reason, I feel like I can trust him, Supreme Kai would say. Supreme Kai would take Goku and the time machine and take them to the sacred planet. Then he would show him the Z-Sword. Do you think you can lift it? Go ahead. I remind you that it is such a heavy sword that even we cannot lift it. Supreme Kai would say. Goku would lift the sword as if nothing and move it from side to side as if it had the weight of a feather. It's not that much. It should only weigh about 10,000 kilos, Goku would say. How did he do it? The astonished Supreme Kai would ask. I don't believe you. It has to be a trick, Kibito would say. Now to break it, Goku would say. Goku would split the Z-Sword in two without any difficulty. Behind a cloud of dust, you would see the old Supreme Kai. It's not possible, the astonished Supreme Kai would say.
I told you, Goku would say. So they finally freed me, Supreme Kai would say. Holy Ancestor, is it really you? Supreme Kai would say. Of course it's me. What else did you expect? The old Supreme Kai would ask. Hey, you come from the future. That's wrong. How do you know? Goku would ask. I have magical powers. You almost certainly know me. I can feel it clearly, Supreme Kai would say seriously. One moment, Supreme Kai would rest his finger on Goku's chest. He would bite him several times. There's something strange about you, the old Supreme Kai would say. What's wrong with him? Supreme Kai would ask without understanding anything of what was happening. Why do I feel so familiar, as if you were part of me? Supreme Kai would ask. It's just that at my time I was dead, and to be able to fight Majin Buu, you gave me your life, Goku would say. That is impossible. Never such a sacred being would give his life to a mortal, Kibito Furioso would say. What this young man says is true. I would be willing to do something like that, the old Supreme Kai would say. Especially because my life is worth nothing. I only have 1,000 years left. So everything that Mr. Goku said is true, the Supreme Kai would say. Boy, you'll have to give me many explanations of your trip to this time, the Supreme Kai would say. I can't believe it. I'll have to start over, Goku would say. Goku would give all the details to the old Supreme Kai. I would tell him the same thing I had told Supreme Kai and Kibito. I understand, the Supreme Kai would say. What do you think is happening? I know that traveling in time is wrong, but I'm sure someone else altered the timelines, Goku would say. According to Bulma, there were hundreds of timelines. We only have one thing left. We will have to go to Universe 10, where the rings of time rest, the old Supreme Kai would say. Well, when we arrive, we will finish with Zamasu, before he does everything as I told him, Goku would say. Sacred Ancestor, if it is true that there is a god of destruction, shouldn't we prevent him from finding out about this? The Supreme Kai would say. It could destroy us. He would never destroy you, Goku would say. If he does, he dies. Shut up, the old Supreme Kai would say. What are you talking about, Mr. Goku? The Supreme Kai would ask. I can't believe you know that. That means you are very intimate with the gods, the old Supreme Kai would say. I don't understand, the Supreme Kai would say. The god of destruction and the Supreme Kai come in a package. If one dies, the other does it too, the old Supreme Kai would say. It can't be, the Supreme Kai would say. But I had no idea. Of course you had no idea, if all those around you died and you took a very important position with no experience, the old Supreme Kai would say. Goku, how close are you to the gods? The old Supreme Kai would ask. Well, I fought with Beerus, Whis trained me, and I also became friends with Zeno-sama. Zeno-sama, the old Supreme Kai would say when he fainted. Holy Ancestor, the Supreme Kai would say when he attended him. Minutes later, the old Supreme Kai would wake up. I can't believe it. What kind of subject are you? The old Supreme Kai would ask. We have no time to waste, Goku would say. We have to go to Universe 10 as soon as possible. Goku and the others would go on a trip to Universe 10 to verify the Rings of Time, while the time machine would be guarded on the sacred planet. Minutes later, our friends would arrive, meeting with Zamasu. Nice to see you, Zamasu would say when making a reverence. I didn't expect a visit from Universe 7. He's a bastard, furious Goku would think. Zamasu, we came to talk to Gawasu, the Supreme Kai would say. You didn't know? Zamasu would say. Gawasu no longer exists. Now I am the Supreme Kai. What you did to the old Gawasu, furious Goku would say when his ki exploded. Mr. Goku, calm down, the Supreme Kai would say. Goku, what is your name? Zamasu would say with a strange serenity. Don't go too far, furious Goku would say. Does something happen that I have to know? Zamasu would seriously ask. Mr. Goku, please. He would try to stop the Supreme Kai, but it didn't seem to be easy. How dare you make such a request to a god? Furious Zamasu would ask. Have more respect. You are immortal after all." In an instant, Goku would come with a fist pump toward Zamasu, but he would hold his attack like nothing. "It's not possible. I didn't have this power," Goku would think, confused. "So you dare to face me?" furious Zamasu would say. Zamasu would raise his ki to the maximum. He would throw Goku away from a simple attack. Goku would retreat several meters, but he would guard himself instantly. "You are not the Zamasu of this timeline," Goku would say. "Your accusations are vague and empty," Zamasu would say. "You are gods. I disappoint you when you bring someone with these behaviors." "Mr. Goku, with violence we will not achieve anything," the Supreme Kai would say. Goku would transform into Super Saiyan Blue. Everyone would be surprised to feel the ki of a god in a mortal. "That's the ki of a god," the haunted Supreme Kai would say. "How is it possible that a simple mortal is placed at the height of a god?" Furious Zamasu would say. Goku would reach Zamasu. He would hit him hard on the face. Zamasu would retreat several meters. "You are not the Zamasu of this timeline," Goku would say. "Please, Mr. Goku." He would try to stop the Supreme Kai, but it didn't seem to be easy.
The Supreme Kai would say, "Wait." The Elder Supreme Kai would stop. "Great Lord." The Supreme Kai would say without understanding it, "You're right. It was hard for me to see it, but this Zamasu is not from this time." The Elder Supreme Kai would say, "It can't be." The Haunted Supreme Kai would say, "That means Zamasu is behind all this." Kibito would say. Goku and Zamasu would begin to exchange blows at high speed. Both had a very even power. At one point, Zamasu would attack Goku with a ki blade. He would move at the right time. The edge of the ki blade would touch Goku's hair. Damn, that was close, Goku would think. Then, Goku would attack Zamasu with a ki ball in his stomach. He would detonate it at a short distance. Zamasu would be bent. He would cough some tears of blood. "At least I know that in this case, you are not immortal," Goku would say. "Bastard," Zamasu furioso would say. Zamasu would throw a ki beam at Goku, but the Saiyan would reject the attack. Then, Goku would kick Zamasu in the chest. Zamasu would retreat a few meters, scraping his feet on the ground so as not to fall. Goku would reach Zamasu and attack him with a rain of fist blows. Zamasu would fall to the ground. He could hardly move. "Disgusting worm," Goku would say. "Stop." Rumshi's voice would be heard. Everyone would be attentive to the arrival of the God of Destruction of Universe 10. He would be accompanied by his angel, Kusu. "What's going on here?" Rumshi would ask without understanding what was happening. After the arrival of Rumshi, no one knew what to do. Goku would have to be attentive since Rumshi could be considered a potential enemy. "Universe 7, what's going on?" Rumshi would ask. "Zamasu killed Gawasu," Goku would say. "Shut up," Rumshi would answer. "Gawasu paid for his own sins by wanting to steal the Rings of Time." "Well, I'm afraid to inform you that the timelines were altered," the old Supreme Kai would say. "Who are you? I've never seen you," Rumshi would say. "Nor any of you. If you've never seen us, how do you know we're from Universe 7? "Because I told them. I do know them," Kibito would say. "He is a Supreme Kai from many generations ago. He is the current Supreme Kai, and he is the apprentice of Supreme Kai," Kibito would say when pointing to the old Supreme Kai, the Supreme Kai, and Kibito. "I hope this is not some kind of rebellion," Rumshi would say, "or I will be forced to destroy them all. If he does that, Beerus will die, and he will be punished by Xenozena," Kusu would warn. "Ha, you're lucky, but don't think you'll get out of here without a punishment," Rumshi would say. "Before you keep talking so much, this Zamasu is not from this timeline," the old Supreme Kai would say. "He usurped the place of the previous Zamasu." "That's not true, because my soul is linked to him," Rumshi would say. "Mr. Rumshi, now the mortal knows," Kusu would say, leaving Rumshi terrified. "I always knew it," Goku would say. "The Zamasu of my time killed all the Supreme Kai to get rid of all the gods of destruction," Goku would explain. "What are you talking about?" Rumshi would ask, distrusting Goku.
Zamasu is trying to escape, Kusu would say when pointing it out. Zamasu escaped slowly so as not to attract attention, but it would be detected. That attitude would make Rumshi suspicious. In an instant, the god of destruction would stand in front of Zamasu to block his path. "Why are you trying to escape if I'm here?" Rumshi would seriously ask. "Mr. Rumshi, it's not what you think. If this crazy man kills me, you will disappear," Zamasu would say, trying to get rid of the accusations, but it didn't seem to achieve it. "I don't know. I don't like your attitude," Rumshi would say. Zamasu would stand up with a dark expression. "I will not allow you to make false accusations," Zamasu would say seriously, "especially a god as thin as you." Zamasu would launch a surprise attack at Rumshi with a keyblade, but Goku would arrive in time by holding his wrist. He would do it just in time. He was about to cut Rumshi's neck. "You were going to kill us?" Rumshi would ask, amazed. "No, I was going to kill you," Goku would say seriously while he was applying a key to Zamasu. Zamasu would try to free himself, but he wouldn't make it. The strength of Goku was too much. "Let me go, stupid mortal," Zamasu would say, furious. "Rumshi, we need to verify the rings of time. Someone has made a chaos with them," Goku would say. "If Zamasu decided to attack me, that means it's not linked to me," Rumshi would say. In a carelessness of Goku, Zamasu would finally be able to free himself. "No matter what they do, they can't stop me," Zamasu would say, sure of himself. Suddenly, Zamasu's body would begin to shine in purple tones. Rumshi was pointing it out, and it would disappear with Hakai energy. "I can't believe it," the Supreme Kai would say, amazed. Rumshi had completely disappeared to Zamasu, and he was still alive. "It's definitely not Zamasu to whom they linked my soul," Rumshi would say. "Look at that," Kusu would say, pointing to the ground. In the area where Zamasu was, you could see one of the rings of time there. "I knew it," Goku would say. "I told you it didn't belong to this line of time," the old Supreme Kai would say. "Rumshi, please trust us. Let's go see the rings of time," Goku would say. "If what they told me is true, there must be hundreds of them." "Okay, let's check," Rumshi would say. Goku and the others would go to the room where the rings of time were stored. When opening a compartment, he would notice the destroyed box, since inside it was overflowing with rings of time. "It can't be. This is chaos," Goku would say. "How many rings of time are there in total?" Rumshi would ask. "I don't know, maybe about 157, Kusu would say. "It's a pretty exact figure," Goku would say. "Mr. Goku, it's no time for jokes. We have to find out from which line of time it came from. And how did the time machine get to you?" Supreme Kai would say. "Time machine?" Rumshi would say. "Wait a minute. That means you've used technology to create new timelines," Rumshi would say, while destruction energy surrounded his body. "No, wait. It's not what he thinks," Goku would try to calm him. "Mr. Rumshi, please, come to your senses," Supreme Kai would try to calm the god of destruction. "If it weren't for Mr. Goku, we wouldn't have gotten this far." Goku would take a few minutes to explain everything to Rumshi. In particular, he focused on the details about the Zamasu of his time, and how he had killed all the gods of destruction. "Now, my concern is to know who I have my soul tied to," Rumshi would say. "It's hard to believe that these plans were carried out by this Zamasu of before, because if so, it would have been with him with whom they tied my soul." Goku would pay attention to the time ring that Zamasu had dropped in the moment of disappearing. "I think there's only one way to find out," Goku would say when observing everyone, as if he had made an important decision. "Hey, we just talked about time travel is not allowed," Rumshi would say.
"Then tell me how we solve all these rings," Goku would say. "I guess Mr. Goku is right," Kuz would intervene. "Kuz, which side are you on?" furious Ramush would say. "Well, without doing anything, there will be no results," Angel would say. "Mr. Goku, we will go with you. Maybe you need our guide," Kaioshin would say. "No, as Ramush says, time travel is prohibited," Goku would say. "It is better to do this alone. In addition, you must find a way to protect and control all those rings of time. A new one has just been created, Kuz would say. There is no time, Goku would say. Kaioshin, as far as possible, hide the time machine, and if necessary, destroy it, Goku would ask. Sure, as you say, Mr. Goku, Kaioshin would say. Goku would place the time ring, and although he did not know how to use it, he would manage to do it and disappear from there. Holy heaven, I wonder where he has gone, and what will wait for him there, Kaioshin would say, worried. Goku would find himself on a planet in ruins. He did not understand where he was. How strange, this place is deserted, Goku would say. There is no sign of life. Goku would concentrate on looking for someone's key, but the entire planet was lifeless. Damn it, I even feel like I'm short of air here, Goku would say when it cost him to breathe. Goku would try to look for someone else's key before the air affected him. For a moment, he would manage to feel Beerus's key. Is it really him? Goku would ask. Goku would use teleportation. He would reach another planet which, although it had life, did not look like something very pleasant. I'm sure I felt Beerus around here, Goku would say. Goku would move his head back at the right time. A ball of ki would scratch his nose. That was close, Goku would say. Black, damn it, what did you find me with? Beerus would say. Mr. Beerus, it's me, Goku, Goku would say. It can't be, it has to be a joke, Beerus would say. Then Beerus would notice the time ring on Goku's finger. Mr. Goku, why do you bring a time ring? Beerus would seriously ask. He still did not trust him. This ring is the one of Zamos, whom I just defeated in another timeline, Goku would say. I hope you know who Zamos is, because I came in this ring and I do not know what time I am. Yes, it seems that it was you, Beerus would say. Beerus wore a strange brown outfit. He lacked his bracelets and the ring on his ear, in addition to the decorations of the God of Destruction uniform. Mr. Beerus, I see it very thin, Goku would say, when he noticed the difference. Poor thing, you don't even know where you are, Beerus would say. Well, could you tell me when we are? Goku would ask. If we take into account the date of your birth, 1,000 years after that, Beerus would say. 1,000 years? Goku would say, terrified. That's right. A lot has happened. Among them, I recently left my sacred position to Vegeta, Beerus would say. Great, Vegeta, a god of destruction, Goku would say, excited. Do not eat cravings, Beerus would say, when ruining Goku's enthusiasm. Just as he became a god of destruction, a few centuries later, he died, all because of Zamos. I can't believe it, Goku would say. That's right. If I'm alive, it is thanks to the fact that I am no longer a god of destruction. I think Zamos has forgotten about me, or does not consider me important for his plans, Beerus would say. How did you do it? I just faced a Zamos stronger than I knew before, but at a time when I was just a child. You cannot imagine, Beerus would say. These Zamasus, instead of being two, are many more. They formed a kind of union. Some merged with each other to increase their power, while others, they changed places with their weaker versions to destroy the timelines. From there, tell me where the Zamos is from here. I will defeat him, Goku would say. Idiot, do you think you could? He could not make a Vegeta god of destruction. With the Ultra Instinct, you cannot do it, Beerus would say, without hope. I have to be able. For some reason, the time machine came to me, Goku would say. Time machine? Beerus would ask. But I thought you were coming in that time ring. A time machine appeared in the Capsule Corporation. Upon entering, I traveled by accident at a time when Freezer invaded the Earth when I was only 8 years old, Goku would explain. Since that time, I ended up with the Zamos owner of this ring. Goku, that trip was not an accident, Beerus would explain. What do you mean? Goku would ask. I sent that time machine to the past. Any time back would come to you, because your timeline is the root of all of these, Beerus would explain. But that machine sent me further back, to an altered timeline, Goku would say. That means that the alterations have escalated more than I thought,
Beerus would say. Yes, 158 timelines, Goku would say. What? Beerus would say, terrified. Suddenly, Zamos would arrive on the planet. Impossible. He found you, Beerus would say. Beerus, I had forgotten about you because you are not someone dangerous, but I see that you are annoying, Zamos would say in a threatening way. Zamos bastard, Goku would say, furious when transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Goku would throw everything at Zamos. No, Goku, wait! He would try to stop Beerus, but it would be in vain. Goku would arrive with a punch in Zamos's forehead, but it would not do him the slightest damage. Then he would attack him with a rain of blows, but Zamos would not bother to defend himself. Goku's blows were like caresses for him. Pathetic, Zamos would say. Zamos from a slap would throw Goku away. He would lose his transformation. I can't believe it, Goku would say, amazed. The difference in power between you and me is too much. I recommend you give up, Zamos would say. It can't be. Goku was my last hope, Beerus would think. Zamos would create a key ball and throw it at Goku. Beerus would place himself in the middle with his arms crossed and receive the attack of him. Beerus, Goku would scream terrified. Beerus would fall on his knees with his arms bleeding. He could not move them from how wounded he was.
You have to flee. You are our only hope, Beerus would say in a low voice. How much do you talk? Zamos would ask. I'll kill you both for insolence. Beerus would throw everything at Zamos, colliding with his body since he could not move his arms. Then Zamos would stab Beerus's chest with his keyblade. I should have looked for you before to kill you. Disgusting worm, Zamos would say, furious. Beerus would fall dead to the ground with his eyes white. Zamos would look for Goku everywhere, but he was not there. He escaped, Zamos would say, furious. I cannot believe it. That disgusting worm got rid of me. Zamos would watch Beerus's body with hatred. He probably sacrificed himself to escape. Do you have a plan? Zamos would ask. Goku would hide on another planet while seeking to heal. He had a strong wound on his shoulder that gave him important stitches every so often. Just with one blow he did this to me. I'm no match for him, Goku would say. Goku would manage to find refuge where to spend time, while Zamos tried to look for Goku's trail everywhere. He cannot disappear out of nowhere. That idiot must have some method to defeat me. Otherwise, he would not have come with such low power, Zamos would say. He would spend a few days while Goku took refuge. He had lowered his ki to the minimum so as not to be detected, although he knew he would have to do something. He could not be in his timeline for long just hiding. Damn, I cannot believe it. I feel so useless in a situation like this, Goku would say. Suddenly, Goku would manage to feel the presence of Zamos, but also someone else. What's going on? Goku would ask. I feel a ki next to Zamos that seems very familiar, and that they are fighting but he will not win. Meanwhile, Zamos would be having a hard battle against someone, but it was another version of Goku that came from another timeline. I'm sure you're not the same one I fought before, Zamos would say. I swear I do not know what you're talking about, Goku would say. Zamos and Goku would punch each other, creating a great stir. Then they would exchange several blows, but Goku would gradually wear out. Zamos was a little stronger than him, and in a late fight, he would manage to take advantage as more time passed. If I do not do something, I'm done, Goku would say. Zamos would throw a ball of ki at Goku. He would cross his arms to resist the attack. Even so, he would be fired away by the force of the attack. Damn, that hurt, Goku would say. The first Goku would arrive with the teleportation. It's me, the first Goku would say. No, you are me. Whatever, the second Goku would say when he took his double. And get out of there,
Damn, there are two, Zamasu would say furious. Zamasu would look for the trace of both Goku again, while our friends would be hidden. Why are you here? The first Goku would ask. I guess for the same as you, the second Goku would say. I do not know if you are aware, but that Zamasu is the fusion of three Zamasus. No wonder he defeated me with a single blow, the first Goku would say. No problem. We can play the same game, the second Goku would say. The second Goku would take out the Potara earrings. The fusion? But I'm not very strong compared to you, the first Goku would say. It does not matter. Those Potara earrings are more powerful than you know, the second Goku would say. In addition, with this, the fusion will be permanent. What? The first Goku would say disconcerted. But what will happen to my family and mine? Ask yourself that if you beat Zamasu, the second Goku would say. Goku would decide, and finally he would accept to place the clay. I found them, Zamasu would say to throw a key ball at them. Both Goku would jump, avoiding the attack just in time. Put the clay, the second Goku would say. I already put it, the first Goku would say. No, we both have it in the left ear. Put it in the right ear, the second Goku would say. Zamasu would throw everything towards the second Goku. They would begin to exchange blows. In a moment, Goku would manage to move away from him, and he would put the clay in his right ear. Very well, the second Goku would say. Why did you change the clay? The first Goku would ask, since he had also put it in his right ear. Demons, the second Goku would say. Zamasu would hit the second Goku hard in the stomach, remaining bent. It's time to finish you, Zamasu would say when creating a Keyblade. Zamasu would try to stab him, but Goku would be fired away. He went straight to the other Goku. It cannot be, Zamasu would say, terrified. Both Goku would finally merge into a new, more powerful Goku. You're a damn cheater, Zamasu would say out loud. Look who's talking, Goku would say seriously. Goku would transform into Super Saiyan Blue, unleashing his new power. Goku would observe his hands. He clearly felt the energy go through his body. It's your end, Goku would say. Goku, in an instant, Zamasu would arrive with a punch in his stomach. Zamasu would cough blood. Then Goku would attack him with a large number of attacks at high speed. Zamasu would have no chance. Goku's level was above him. Bastard, Zamasu would say. If you tell me what your plans are, I'll let you live, Goku would say. What are you talking about? Zamasu would ask. I prefer to die before ruining everything. Remember that there is more of me everywhere. When they fulfill our plans, everything will come out as we wanted. Goku would arrive at Zamasu with a kick in his head, throwing him away. Zamasu would roll on the ground several meters. He would cost him to stand up. I guess I'll have to make you suffer until I make you talk, Goku would say. Goku would throw a key ball at Zamasu far away. Talk, so I can kill you, Goku would say. Never, Zamasu would say. You are a great idiot, Goku would say furious as he raised his key. Goku would throw everything towards Zamasu. Wait, Zamasu would say. I'll tell you. Come on, talk. I don't have all day, Goku would say. Okay, I'll tell you. But first, one thing, Zamasu would say in a paid way. Zamasu would take advantage of the fact that Goku had lowered the guard and would launch a powerful ki attack at a short distance. But Goku would manage to dodge it for a while. The attack had rubbed Goku's shoulder, leaving a burn. With what do you want that? Goku would say. Goku would place his hand in front of Zamasu,
and he would completely disappear it with a ki attack.
There would be nothing left of that Zamasu, only his time ring that had fallen to the ground. I just hope that while I have killed these 3 Zamasu, they have not been created even more, Goku would think. Goku would take the time ring of Zamasu. Now I would have 2 of them. Heavens, I just hope nothing bad happens to us, Goku would say. Goku would use the new time ring. He would reach another timeline. What an ugly place, Goku would say when he saw a planet almost in ruins. It does not seem that there is intelligent life here. Goku would jump at the right time to dodge an attack. It cannot be, Goku would say. Goku, Zamasu would ask. But as Zamasu fused with black, I see that you bring the Potara clay. Have you fused between 2 versions of yourself? It is nothing different from what your other versions are doing, Canary, Goku would say. And you have 2 time rings. That means that you have defeated 2 of mine, Zamasu would say. It's a shame, because you will not get further than that. Zamasu would raise his ki to the maximum, scaring Goku. Damn, it's strong, Goku would say, astonished. In a moment, Zamasu would be on Goku. With a simple punch, he would throw him away, causing him to collide with a risk. Goku would come out of the rubble by transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Bastard, I will finish you, Goku would say, furious. Goku would throw everything towards Zamasu, but when he arrived with a punch, Zamasu would hold his hand without greater effort. Do you only have that? Zamasu would ask. Zamasu would lean his hand on Goku's chest, and with an explosion of ki, he would throw him away. Goku would fall to the ground seriously injured. He would begin to cough to recover his breath. It is not possible. It is stronger than the previous one, Goku would say. I am Zamasu, most Zamasu of all, created from 10 versions of ourselves. What makes you think that I was not ready for this? Zamasu would say seriously. I have traveled from timeline to timeline, killing versions of you and strengthening me with my versions. There are almost not many of you left. It's time to finish them all at once. Zamasu would throw a rain of ki balls at Goku. He would dodge them, moving from side to side, but after a few seconds, he could not do it anymore, Goku would say. Goku would receive all the other attacks, creating a sequence of explosions on him. It's time to die, Zamasu would say when he threw himself at Goku, but someone would come kicking his neck, interrupting his step. Damn it, Zamasu would say when he fell to the ground. Vegeta, Goku would say, amazed. Goku was surprised to see a Vegeta with the Potara earrings on. Vegeta, you are the fusion of 2 versions of you, Goku would say, happy. I knew that no matter what timeline this would happen. You could not do it alone, Vegeta would say. After all, you are still a low-class warrior. Vegeta, Zamasu would say, out of himself. Kakaroto, we do not waste time. Vegeta would take one of the Potara earrings and he would give it to Goku. Zamasu had no time to avoid it. Goku and Vegeta would merge, appearing an improved Vegeto. Now yes, it's your end, Vegeta would say when he transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta would reach Zamasu, and both would begin to force. Their strength seemed to be the same. You are a disgusting worm, Zamasu furious would say. Zamasu would manage to make fun of the grip and kick Vegeto, throwing him away. Then Zamasu, he would create a Keyblade and go after Vegeto. Even so, Vegeta would dodge each of the attacks. In a moment, Vegeta would take Zamasu from the doll, and he would tighten the Keyblade with force, disappearing it completely. You are nothing, Zamasu, Vegeta would say. Vegeta would hit Zamasu, throwing him away. Then I would throw a Ki Ray that would directly impact him. Vegeta would go with everything towards Zamasu, but this would disappear at the last moment. Where did he get in? Vegeta would ask. Vegeta would receive a kick in the back that would make him fall to the ground. Zamasu, Vegeta would say, furious. Do you think you can defeat me just with that? Remember that you are in front of a god belonging to dozens of timelines. Zamasu smiled. I guess it will be better to end that once and for all, Vegeta would say. Vegeta would scream, raising his ki to the maximum. Then he would advance his hands to perform the final flash. He would accumulate ki in them, and he would take them back as if it were the Kamehameha. Final Kamehameha! Vegeta would scream to launch his attack towards Zamasu. On Earth, Goku and Vegeta trained hard, while the rest of our friends were gathered in a meal. Whis and Beerus were there too. Those two do want to get stronger and stronger, Whis would say. It reminds me of 3 million years ago when I was young, Beerus would say. I don't think you've ever had that fighting spirit, Whis would say. At least they're training far away where they don't destroy anything, Bulma would say. The only thing that worries me is that Goku continues to insist on that of a new tournament of power. What? He can't be serious, Bulma would say, worried. Apparently meeting beings from the other universes has opened his appetite for fighting. Whis would say, now he wants to be luckier to surpass Jiren. Dear God, one of these days he's going to destroy us all for being like this, Bulma would say when showing her stress. Genos, that participant from Universe 4, was spying on everyone, since he was dedicated to looking for information in other universes, especially Goku's. Another tournament of power, Genos terrified would say. That idiot Goku, I have to report as soon as possible. Hours later, Genos would reach the planet of the God of Destruction. He would notice what he had witnessed. What do you mean another tournament of power? Kitella, annoyed, would say. That insolent Goku, he'll have to destroy it. Remember that he can't destroy mortals that are not from his universe. It goes against the rules, his angel warned. But if I don't do it, Goku will do it sooner or later, always causing problems. When it's not him, it's his stupid mortals, Kitella would say out loud. Great Kitella, I suppose you'll be aware that there are dragon warriors on Earth, Genos would say. And that what? Kitella seriously asked. I can think of an idea, Genos would say. It would happen in a few days while our friends were leading their normal lives.
In the Capsule Corporation, Bulma had the dragon spheres hidden. Only a small portal would open. Genos would come out of it. He would take the dragon spheres discreetly, and he would take them from there without activating any alarm. After taking them, he would leave other dragon spheres that were false, all to not attract attention. Minutes later, Genos would be somewhere on Earth with the dragon spheres. Mr. Kitella, everything is ready, Genos would say. Did you get the dragon spheres? Kitella would ask. That's right. I stole the dragon spheres, and I left the glass imitations. Nobody will notice, Genos would say. Excellent. Now that you know how they are used, ask for the wish at once, Kitella would say. Genos would take advantage that it was night. He would take the dragon spheres and he would call Shenron. Get out of there, Shenron, Genos would say. Shenron would make his well-known appearance. Tell me what your wish is. I can fulfill anything, Shenron would say. I wish that Goku disappears from the Earth, Genos would say. I can't fulfill that wish. You'll have to ask for something else, Shenron would say. I don't understand. Why can't you? Genos would ask. The wishes that threaten the lives of others, they are forbidden. That's how my creator determined it, Shenron would explain. Also, Goku's powers exceed me. I couldn't finish him even if I had allowed it. Genos, what's going on? Kitella was heard in the communicator. It seems that the Dragon God can't make Goku disappear. He goes against the rules, Genos would say. Then, ask for something else. I don't care if he lives or dies. I just want him out so he doesn't cause another power tournament, Kitella would say. Genos was nervous. He was afraid to be discovered. Damn, the Dragon God is very big. It can attract attention, Genos would think, worried. Come on, ask for your wish. It's annoying to be this way for a long time, the Dragon God would demand. Genos, think of something.
Kitella would demand. Ganos felt pressured. He had to make a decision once and for all. I wish Goku sleeps for 100 years, Ganos would ask. What? Kitella would say, confused. That wish is easy to fulfill, Shenron would say. Shenron's eyes would shine. He would fulfill the wish and leave. Shoot up! Why did you ask for that wish? Kitella furious would say. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, Ganos would say. Fool, you should have told him to sleep forever, or for millions of years. What made you think that for 100 years he would be fine? Kitella would say. I didn't realize, Ganos would say. You're an idiot. You have to realize that, Kitella would say. At least we'll be safe for 100 years. The next morning, Chi-Chi would try to wake Goku up, but he wouldn't get up. Goku, damn you, wake up! Chi-Chi would say while shaking Goku from side to side, but he wouldn't wake up. Goku, I'm calling you! Chi-Chi would say, but it was still unsuccessful. It would be noon. Goku was still asleep. Mom, why does Dad sleep so much? Goten would ask. I don't know, son. Maybe he's tired, Chi-Chi would say sweetly, but it was just to hide her anger. Damn that Goku. He has to go out to work like a good family man instead of sleeping like a bear, Chi-Chi would think furiously. The hours would continue to pass. Goku would logically continue to sleep. Chi-Chi would begin to worry that Goku had a problem. Something was obviously wrong with him. Goku, what's wrong with you? Chi-Chi would say, worried. Chi-Chi would prepare a large piece of roast meat, take it to his room, and place it near Goku. If the smell of food doesn't wake him up, I don't know what to do, Chi-Chi would say, worried. Goku would begin to smell the food. He would say some other word, asleep, but he wouldn't wake up. It can't be. Something's wrong with him, Chi-Chi would say. Chi-Chi would call her friends. She would tell them what was happening. Piccolo and Gohan would arrive at the moment. Then Vegeta. How is it that my father doesn't wake up? Gohan would ask. I don't know, son. Since he went to bed at night, he's still sleeping. He doesn't even react with the food, Chi-Chi would say. That is strange, Piccolo would say. Vegeta would kick his bed. Goku would fall to the ground upside down. Vegeta, what are you doing? Chi-Chi would say furiously. I'm trying to wake him up. Can't you see? Vegeta would say arrogantly. Those are not the ways. If Goku doesn't wake up, something must have happened to him, Piccolo would say. Piccolo would put his hand on Goku's chest. He would close his eyes while studying him. Mr. Piccolo, can you feel anything in him? Gohan would ask. Nothing. Fine, Piccolo would say. His energy flows normally. It doesn't seem to have anything. It doesn't make sense, Chi-Chi would say. Something has to happen to my Goku. It can't be that he sleeps all day. It's not logical. Bulma would arrive at that moment. I'm sorry for the delay. I couldn't leave without leaving what I was doing, Bulma would say. What happened to Goku? Bulma, my Goku doesn't wake up. He almost slept all day. Did you try putting some food on him? Bulma would ask normally. And so he wakes up, Chi-Chi would say. So that's serious, Bulma would say. Vegeta, take Goku. We have to take him to the Capsule Corporation. Not crazy. I'm going to carry this idiot, Vegeta would say arrogantly. Leave him. I'll take him, Piccolo would say, when taking him in his arms. Our friends would take Goku to the Capsule Corporation. They would put him on a stretcher while Bulma studied him. It's strange. He's completely healthy, Bulma would say. It doesn't make sense. I know he has something, Chi-Chi would say. Whis and Whis arrived. Bulma had warned them of what happened. So that Mr. Goku doesn't wake up, Whis would say. That's right. But in theory, everything is fine with him, Bulma would say. It's not possible that he sleeps so much. I don't see the problem. Just because I want to sleep, Beerus would say, reducing the importance of the situation. Mr. Beerus, mortals sleep for hours. They are not like you who is able to sleep for years, Whis would say. Go crazy, Beerus would say. Did you try using the Dragon Balls? Whis would ask. It's true. I almost forgot, Bulma would say.
Bulma and the others would go for the Dragon Balls, but by taking them and trying to call the Dragon God, they wouldn't do anything. I don't understand what's going on, Bulma would ask. Bulma, you have the Dragon Radar with you? Piccolo would ask. Yes? Let me see, Bulma would say. Bulma would use the Dragon Radar, but nothing would happen. Since those Dragon Balls were made of glass, they just didn't know it yet. It can't be. What's going on? Bulma would ask. Piccolo would take one of the Dragon Balls. He would break it in his hand. Pieces of glass would fall everywhere. They are fake, Piccolo would say. What do you mean fake? Bulma would ask. Someone took the real Dragon Balls and used them. He left these to mislead, Gohan would say. But who would do something like that? Bulma would ask. An enemy? Clearly. Beats would say, it can't be. This must be a plan by Frieza, Vegeta would say. If the wish they asked is related to Goku sleeping, we're in trouble. Piccolo would say, if that's the case, the wishes of the Dragon God can't be undone. Do you suggest that someone asked Goku to sleep forever? Vegeta would ask, it's possible. Surely they asked to finish him, and the Dragon God refused. That was something that Dende changed recently, Piccolo would say. Wow, it's a shame. Whis would say, I guess we'll just have to wait. Our friends would continue with their lives while they were attentive to Goku, but he wouldn't wake up. Vegeta would be forced to train hard, since he wouldn't have Goku's help, and he should defend the Earth. 100 years later, Goku would open his eyes. Where am I? Goku would ask. Goku, when examining his surroundings, he would notice that he was in a room similar to that of Beats. He would realize by the sand clocks floating in the air. I don't understand, Goku would say. Goku would leave that room. He would realize that he was on the planet of Beats. What the hell happened here? Goku would ask. Mr. Goku, nice to see you. Whis would say, Whis, what am I doing here? Goku would ask. Look, you're still awake. Whis would say, Mr. Whis. Goku would say, hey, could you explain to me what I'm doing here? Mr. Goku, I hope you're ready for what I'll tell you. Whis would say, you slept for 100 years. 100 years? Goku would say, astonished. That's right, 100 years. Whis would repeat, but how is it possible? Goku would ask. As far as we know, someone slept you using a wish from the Dragon Spheres. Whis would say, although we never knew who it was, it can't be. What happened to everyone else? Goku would ask. Kakarot, with what are you awake? Vegeta would say, Vegeta, at least you're here. Goku would say, what happened to everyone else? Vegeta would dodge the look to the side. He didn't know how to answer. Vegeta, speak, Goku would ask. Mr. Goku, it would be better if you ate something first. Your body was in a 100-year rest. Whis would say, now that you say it, I don't feel very well. Goku would say, feeling dizzy, heavens, I've never been so hungry as now. It would be better if you don't demand. Vegeta, you've even lost muscle mass from years of inactivity. Whis would warn. Whis, bring him something to eat before he falls asleep again. Whis would order. Whis would bring some food for Goku. This couldn't be anything other than eating. While Goku ate, Whis brought more food since Goku ate very fast. Wow, his stomach did open. Whis would say, after a few minutes, Goku would finish eating. Wow, that was delicious. Goku would say, very well, now I want to know what happened. Goku would finish saying. While he got serious, he wanted to know everything that had happened in his absence during those 100 years.
Goku was waiting for answers, but our friends didn't seem to know how to tell him everything. The truth could be more painful than it seemed. Mr. Goku, are you aware that 100 years have passed? Whis would say, I want to know what happened in those 100 years. Stop going around so much. Goku would demand, say it righty, Beerus. There's no point in hiding it. He'll know anyway. Well, the Earth is still standing. His family died of old age, clearly. There are only a few of his friends left, but nothing else. I'm sorry for his wife. I understand. Poor Milt. He'll have been alone all this time. Goku would say, but what I don't understand is why I stayed asleep for 100 years. We already told you. Someone asked for the wish to the Dragon Balls. Beerus would say, but why 100 years? Goku would ask, that wish doesn't make sense. Nobody knows. We didn't even know you'd sleep for 100 years. Beerus would say, simply, many years have passed, and since he didn't wake up, we decided to give him a place here. Anyway, since Mr. Beerus sleeps for many years, we thought it was best for you. Whis would explain, I was surprised that he woke up on the day of his 100th birthday. That means it was the wish, that he sleeps for 100 years. Heavens, what a way to waste time, Goku would say. Vegeta, you look the same as always. You haven't aged a bit, Goku would say, appreciating Vegeta's condition. Using a god's ki increases my longevity. Vegeta would say, the same will happen to you if you don't neglect your training. Goku would look at Vegeta carefully. He noticed something in him. Vegeta, it shows that you've become very strong. Goku would say, excited. They say that Mr. Beerus has overcome bad tongues. Ho ho ho! Whis would laugh, laughing. Don't say stupid things. He's still missing. Beerus would answer, upset. Vegeta, I want to test your power. Goku would say, excited. That's not true. Whis would say, putting a serious tone. Why? Goku would ask. For his body, sir. It's more than obvious. Whis would say, you slept for 100 years. You know what that means. Beerus would say seriously. No wonder. I have to get in shape and reach Vegeta. Goku would say, Vegeta, shut up and listen. Vegeta would say, come on, now that you're stronger than me, I feel even more motivated to fight. Goku would say, raising his ki. Goku would start increasing his ki, but a cramp would run through each muscle of his body. It hurts, Goku would say, and the ground would fall automatically. That's what we were talking about, Whis would say. They're cramps. It hurts to the hair.
Goku would say. Seriously? Whis would say, and he would lean his scapula on Goku's arm. Goku would scream even louder. The pain he had felt in his arm was imposing, Whis told him. And he didn't listen to us. Learn to obey, Whis would say. Little by little, Goku's pain would calm down, and he could stand up. Damn, I can't even raise my ki like before, Goku would say. Sorry, he'll have to train little by little until he recovers his previous state, Whis would say. Only then will he be able to think about how to reach Mr. Vegeta. I guess I have no choice, Goku would say. Hey, do you think I can visit the Earth? I imagine there were at least Piccolo and Dende. Sure, if you want, I can take you. In passing, I will visit Miss Bulma. She will be delighted to see you again, Whis would say. Bulma, Goku would say, surprised. Bulma has remained young thanks to the technology he has developed, Vegeta would say, without directly observing Goku. Well, I would like to take a little tour of the Earth. Maybe walking will help me get in shape, Goku would say. Whis would take Goku to the Earth. They would arrive at the Capsule Corporation. Miss Bulma, I have a surprise for you, Whis would say in a melodic tone. I hope it's a gift that's worth it this time, Bulma would say, distracted. She hadn't noticed Goku. By the time Bulma noticed, she would be petrified. It's not true, Bulma would say, amazed. That's right, it's me, Goku would say, somewhat embarrassed. Goku, Bulma would say as he began to cry. Was it really you? Yes. Who else? Goku would say. Bulma would throw herself at Goku. She would hug him hard as he began to cry. Miss Bulma, it's not that big of a deal, Whis would say. Goku, you don't know how much I've missed you, Bulma would say, crying. It's good to know, Goku would say, happy.
Come in, Bulma would say, inviting them to come in. Goku would tell Bulma about the little he knew, while Bulma would tell her everything that had happened on Earth during the 100 years. Wow, with what Mick refused the treatment of preserving life, Goku would say. I would have to see if they're in the beyond to be able to visit her. She understood that she would not return, so she did not want to stop aging, Bulma would say. And you are the same as always, Goku would say. That's right, I canceled aging thanks to a couple of discoveries I made, Bulma would explain. Vegeta's cells helped me. Thanks to the fact that he can use the ki of a god, I managed to channel it into cells and into a treatment. Only they forbade him from giving that treatment to anyone else authorized by the governor of the world, Whis would comment. Really? Goku would say. Yes. Well, it is that the Red Ribbon Army was looking for my invention for their own ends. After all, everything went well, but I cannot give the method to anyone else authorized by the governor of the world, Bulma would say. So the Red Ribbon Army is still standing. How persistent, Goku would say. Not that you say it, but luckily we were able to defend ourselves, Bulma would say. The alarms would begin to sound inside the Capsule Corporation, alerting a possible attack. Not again, Bulma would say, annoyed, as if she were already used to it. It can't be. Do not tell me it's them, Goku would say when he put himself on guard. Mr. Goku, do not even think about it, Whis seriously warned. But if they're attacking, I cannot stay without doing anything, Goku would say. Miss Bulma was very clear in telling him that they know how to defend themselves, Whis would say. Don't worry, Trunks will not take long to arrive, Bulma would say. Trunks? Goku would say, confused. Some androids would enter by force. Whis and Bulma would be like nothing. Deliver the formula, or we will kill you, one of the androids would say. No, Bulma would answer normally. It can't be, Goku would say on guard. Mr. Goku, what did I tell you? Whis would raise the tone. But, Goku would say. The android would shoot a ray of energy straight to our friends, but Trunks would arrive and cut it with his sword. Wow, he's just like the Trunks of the future, Goku would say. He is from this time, but clearly he became just like the other, Whis would say. Are you okay? Trunks would ask. Mr. Goku? Yes, it's me, Goku would say, somewhat embarrassed. One of the androids would throw everything at Trunks. He would attack him with a metallic tentacle. But Trunks would reject the attack as if nothing. I'm with you right away, Trunks would normally say. Trunks would finish all the androids in an instant. Several pieces of them would be scattered everywhere. Wow, I can't believe that the Red Ribbon Army are so persistent, Trunks would say to clean the sweat from his forehead. Wow, Trunks, you have become very strong, Goku would say, amazed. Mr. Goku, I see that you have finally woken up, Trunks would say to stretch Goku's hand. That's right, I will tell you now. Trunks would join the conversation, getting in touch with Goku. I'm glad you are back, Trunks would say. Thank you. So you also decided to stay young, Goku would say. Yes, my mother needs someone to protect her. In addition, we only have the androids 17 and 18 and Mr. Piccolo, Trunks would explain. Someone has to take care of the Earth after all. How nice. I'm very happy that there is always someone protecting the Earth, Goku would say. Whis, I'm going to visit Piccolo. Are you coming with me? Goku would ask. Wow, Mr. Piccolo is not very talkative, Whis would say. Of course. Don't take too long or I will leave you on the ground. Sure, no problem, Goku would say. Goku would look for Piccolo's ki and go see him with the teleportation. Piccolo is meditating until his tea took him by surprise. Goku, Piccolo would say, amazed. I knew you would be alive, Goku would say. Goku, I remember you asked the Eternal Youth Shenlong. Well, yes, it's true, Piccolo would say. What happened to you? It's been 100 years. You'll see, I'll explain it to you, Goku would say. Goku would give the details to Piccolo. Wow, so your body has suffered, Piccolo would say. Yes, that's right. I'll have to recover to be able to train like before, Goku would say, somewhat sad. Take it, Piccolo would say when he gave Goku a leather bag.
What is this? Goku would ask. They are seeds of the hermit, Piccolo would say. They are not many, but given your cramps, you will surely need it. Thank you. I will keep them only for emergency cases,
Goku would say. By the way, keep your eyes open, Piccolo warned. Why? Goku would ask. Someone asked for a wish for you to sleep for 100 years. If that person is still alive, it is possible that he knows that you have awakened, Piccolo would say. Just do not lower the guard. Okay, thanks for the advice, Goku would say. Moments later, Goku would return with Whis. Just in time, I was about to leave. Whis would say, "Are we leaving?" "Yes, let's go back," Goku would say. "Ms. Bulma, we'll see you another day. Goodbye," Whis would say. "Goodbye, Bulma," Goku would say. "Goodbye, guys. Goku, do not miss you." Bulma would say goodbye cheerfully after seeing her friend after so many years. On the trip to the planet of Beerus, Whis and Goku would be talking. "Well, Mr. Goku, what do you think of everything?" Whis would ask. "I am very happy that the Earth was fine without me, but," Goku would say something worried. "But," Whis would say. "I am very worried about who was the one who asked for that wish for him to sleep for 100 years, Goku would say. "If that person is still alive and knows that I woke up, possibly try something and now I am weaker than before. I understand, it is an understandable concern," Whis would say. "For now, let's just focus on his training and return him to his condition as soon as possible. Do you think?" "Yes, thank you very much, Whis. You will be of great help to me," Goku would say. "It's nothing," Whis would answer, something embarrassed. Meanwhile, Gananis would reach the planet of Kitela. "Great sir, Goku has woken up," Gananis would say. "What? I thought there was still a long way to go," Kitela would say. "Today was the 100th anniversary according to the calendar of the Earth, sir," Gananis would explain. "From what I could find out, Goku was trained by the angel Whis, although he is very weak." "Very weak?" Kitela would say, confused. "Sleeping for 100 years has weakened him. His muscles have lost condition. He can't even lift his ki without suffering cramps," Gananis would say. "Wow, it's a good opportunity," Kitela would say with an evil smile. "Mr. Kitela, remember that if you attack Goku and discover him, he will love us. He will be angry for his intrusion," his angel warned. "If I don't take the opportunity to attack him now, he will recover and I will lose my chance to finish him once and for all. Just remember to be discreet. Try not to attract attention," the angel would say seriously. "Mr. Kitela, I have an idea," Gananis would say. "I hope it's good. I think I know how to erase Goku from the map," Gananis would say with a strange smile. Gananis had special plans for Goku. He intended to get rid of him at all costs. That's why he would go to Earth, but he wouldn't do it alone. Gananis would talk to Kitela about his plan. He would give him the details, but that would imply having to distract the gods of Universe 7 to leave Goku alone. And he would have the perfect excuse. Kitela would call an informal meeting between gods with a somewhat convincing excuse. Days later, each god of destruction, Kaioshin and Angel, would meet at a neutral point. Beerus and Whis had suspicions that something would happen, since the meeting was too convenient. Toppo and Vegeta would be present for being the next gods of their universes. Given the absence of the gods, Goku would decide to go to Earth on Whis' special recommendation, since it seemed dangerous for him to stay alone on the planet of God of Destruction. Even so, the angel would not tell Goku about his suspicions. On Earth, Goku would be in the Visit Corporation to his friend Bulma. "Goku, how strange that of a meeting between gods. It's not very usual, is it?" Bulma would ask. "Ah, what am I going to know? I've been sleeping for 100 years. You should know better than me," Goku would say. "Yes, well, I guess you're right," Bulma would say. "I'll bring something to eat. Do you want?" Bulma would ask. "Of course, it would be great," Goku would say. Goku would be with Bulma for a few hours. He would enjoy the delicious food of the future. Then Goku would take a light nap in the garden while Bulma worked on her experiments. At one point, Goku would feel a strange sensation. He would wake up abruptly when feeling the danger. Goku would jump, dodging a ki ball. "What the hell?" Goku would say when looking for the attacker. At that moment, he would see Gohan and Krillin in front of him. "Friends, they are here," Goku would say. "We are not your friends," Krillin would say insincerely. Goku would notice the hostile looks of both. "Hey, what is going on?" Goku would ask. "Something sad." Gohan would reach Goku with a strong punch in his stomach. Goku would fall to his knees, coughing to recover his breath. "Gohan, what the hell are you doing?" Goku would say. "From now on, I am no longer your son," Gohan would say. Goku would put himself on guard. He knew that Gohan was not someone to underestimate. "I don't understand. Is this a nightmare?" Goku would ask. Gohan and Krillin would rush towards Goku. They would begin to attack him at the same time. Goku at the moment only limits to evading the blows. He did not want to damage them. "This does not make sense. Something is happening, and I'm going to find out," Goku would say. Gohan would join his hands and throw a great ray of ki. Goku would cross his arms to resist the attack. Although he had endured it, he would retreat a few meters. His arms burned with the great energy he had endured. "Damn, Gohan, stop doing this," Goku would say, when connected a fist blow to his son's face and threw him away. "No, I will not stop," Gohan furious would say. "This is to abandon us 100 years ago." "Abandon them?" Goku would say, disconcerted. He would begin to feel guilty for Gohan's words. "That's right, Goku, you abandoned the Earth and everything was chaos," Krillin would say. Suddenly, everything would begin to look different. Goku would be in a ruined city. The buildings were collapsed, several vehicles were on fire, the sky full of smoke, and an inhospitable environment. "This is not true. It has to be an illusion," Goku furious would say. Goku would begin to raise his ki involuntarily. But he would realize this. "Damn, I am not ready to use any transformation yet," Goku would say. "I'm still missing form." "Goku, you would hear the call of Chi-Chi." "Chi-Chi, is it really you?" Goku perplexed would say. Although he didn't want to believe it, he was looking at her in front of his eyes, and that simple fact would make him give up any idea that everything was false. "Chi-Chi, you don't know how much I'm sorry," Goku would say sadly. "You're a bastard. Look at everything you have caused," Chi-Chi furious would say, by pointing everything around her. "Chi-Chi, I'm sorry. I swear that somehow I will fix it," Goku would say, trying to please Chi-Chi. But it didn't seem to be easy. "I can't believe you say that," Gohan, annoyed, would say. "If you knew what my mother had to do so that the Earth was not destroyed." "What are you talking about?" Goku, confused, would say.
"Demi," Frieza would say when he showed up. "Frieza," Goku, furious, would say when he put himself on guard. "Oh, but look who's back. The missing hero who left the Earth abandoned," Frieza would say with a special smile. That made Goku more and more tense. "Bastard, this time I'll kill you," Goku would say when he threw himself at Frieza. But at that moment, Chi-Chi would stand in front of Frieza, with arms stretched out to stop Goku. "Do not do it," Chi-Chi, furious, would say. "Chi-Chi, what are you doing?" Goku would ask. "I think you do not understand," Frieza would say when he stood next to Chi-Chi. "So that Frieza would save us? Stop, I had to marry him," Chi-Chi would say. "What?" Goku, disconcerted, would say. "As she says, thanks to the company of your dear wife, I have decided to save the Earth," Frieza smiled. "After all, I had to replace you." "I'll kill you," Goku would scream when he'd transformed into Super Saiyan. The anger had consumed him completely. Goku would throw himself at Frieza, but his body would begin to receive the price of the transformation. Goku would fall on his knees. All his body hurt him. "Damn, I let myself go," Goku would say. "But I cannot let Frieza get out with his. I have to make him pay for this." Goku would return to his basic form. Even so, his body hurt him for the effort. Suddenly, everything would return to normal. "Goku, are you okay?" Bulma would ask when approaching Goku. "Bulma?"
Goku would say when he recognized where he was. Everything was a lie. I do not know what happened. There was a black dome around you, Bulma would explain. The alarms of the Capsule Corporation sounded, so I managed to undo that. I think it was an attack. Goku would fall seated. He felt sore. Goku, what's wrong with you? Bulma would ask when attending him. Goku would explain all the illusion he had suffered about Krillin, Gohan, and besides, Frieza married to me. Goku, that's crazy, Bulma would say. I know, but it was horrible, Goku would say. I want to know who was responsible. I will make him pay for torturing me that way. Mother, I arrived as soon as I could, Trunks would say. Son, thank heaven, Bulma would say. Mr. Goku, are you okay? Trunks would ask. Yes, I am. Just a little sore for trying to transform me into your Saiyan prey, Goku would say. Mr. Goku, you must be very prudent. You must still recover your state to use your transformations again, Trunks would say. Gainus and Chanza were hidden away, since Chanza was the cause of that illusion. Damn, how did that woman manage to remove her illusion? Gainus would ask, annoying. It seems to be some magnetic interference that blocked my mental waves, Chanza would say. Wow, it's a shame. We were so close, Gainus would say. If only he had bothered a little more. If only he had killed himself. Gainus and Chanza were hidden behind some bushes, but at one point, Trunks would divert his gaze there. Something had caught their attention. Damn, Gainus would say, terrified. I feared they were discovered. We have to get out of here and change plans, Chanza would say. Trunks, are you okay? Bulma would ask. Yes, I just seem to feel watched, Trunks would say. We have to get out of here, Gainus would say in a low voice. Gainus and Chanza were far away, but still they saw everything in the Capsule Corporation, thanks to a device that showed them the images from there. Perfect! It turned out better than we thought, Gainus would say. Gainus and Chanza returned to Universe 4, waiting for Quitella. The meeting between the gods would end, and each one of them would return to their respective universes. Wow, what a waste of time, Beerus Boob would say. After all, they only said nonsense. Even so, I think everything is too strange, Whis would say. A meeting like this? To not say anything relevant? They only want to justify that they are doing something, and then gossip, Vegeta would say arrogantly. That sounds like something Mr. Beerus Boob would do, Whis would laugh. Hey, don't compare me with those useless people, furious Beerus Boob would answer. In Universe 4, Quitella and her angels had just arrived to their universe. Gainus and Chanza were waiting for them. So, is he still alive? Quitella would ask seriously. Yes, sir, but you see, Gainus would say. Is he still alive? Furious Quitella would say. It was obvious. I had to invent a stupid excuse to give you the time you couldn't take advantage of, Quitella would say while she was creating a Hakai ball in her hand. Mr. Quitella, please let him speak, her angel would say. You see, we were about to make Goku angry. We managed to make him overdo it, but Bulma saved him, Gainus would say. Even so, everything went well. How did it go well? Quitella would ask. Now Goku believes his enemy is a Red Ribbon Army, a military organization that has been an enemy of Goku since he was a child, Gainus would explain. Now Goku wants revenge for the illusions.
And for the bad moment they made him go through. Interesting, Quitella would say. If Goku dies for his own action, there will be no way to blame us. It wasn't so bad after all. Thank you, sir, Ganos would say when making a reverence. Even so, you don't sit well. It went well by accident, not by your plans. Quitella would say furiously. I want you to go to Earth and keep an eye on Goku, and if necessary, kill him with your own hands. But sir, they already suspect that someone was watching them, Ganos would say terrified. Chanza was shaking without being able to say a single word. Did you say stop? Quitella would ask irritated. Let's go right away, sir, Ganos would say if both would get out of there. For God's sake, what a pair of useless, Quitella would say. Meanwhile, in the Capsule Corporation, Bulma would notice Goku's absence. Goku, where are you? Bulma would call everywhere, but Goku would not appear. Mom, what happens? Trunks would ask. I can't find Goku anywhere. I'm afraid he's doing something crazy, Bulma would say. Don't worry, Mom. I'll go find him, Trunks would say. Trunks would rise to the top of the sky, but he would not be able to find any trace of Goku. He could not feel his ki anywhere. It can't be. Mr. Goku wants to go unnoticed. He hid his ki, Trunks would say. It can't be, Trunks would say to suspect the worst. Trunks would fly at full speed, since he suspected what Goku was doing. At that moment, Goku would reach a huge building. On the facade, you could see the two R's, corresponding to the Red Ribbon Army. I finally arrived. Now they will pay me, Goku would scream very annoyed. Goku was prepared to face the Red Ribbon Army, without being aware that they were not the cause of what had happened to him. These bastards will pay me, Goku would say. Although I cannot transform, I do not need to do it to teach them a lesson. Goku would enter the facilities. Several men would point it with their firearms, since Goku had entered as if nothing. Hey, stay still or I'll shoot, one of the agents would say. Come on, shoot, Goku would say seriously. Without hesitation, all of them would shoot, but Goku would catch each of the bullets with one hand. It's not possible, one of the terrified agents would say. Goku, with a slight expansion of ki, he would throw everyone away. Each of them would crash into the walls fainting, while the whole place would have been made to pieces. I thought there would be someone more worthy to face me, Goku would say to appreciate all the agents, who had been defeated as if nothing. At one point, several men would enter. They wore military uniforms. There it is, one of them would say. Someone had a bazooka, and without hesitation he would shoot Goku. Goku would stretch his hand. He would simply support the torpedo in his hand, as if it meant nothing to him. Then, the torpedo would turn off, and Goku would support him on the ground. It's not possible, this guy is not human, one of the soldiers would say. Hey, I think I know him, one of them would say. Let's warn Magenta about this, another of the soldiers would say. Magenta, the leader of the Red Ribbon Army, he would have been notified of an intruder who had entered the force. When he visualized him in the cameras, he would recognize him instantly. That's Goku, Magenta would say with a mixture of anger and terror. It's not possible. He was supposed to have died. At least he has disappeared. What the hell is he doing here? Goku would begin to attack each of the soldiers in the Red Ribbon Army while demanding explanations of what was happening to him. Nobody knew what to tell him since they didn't know what Goku was talking about. The little they knew about him was from his records inside the base. It can't be that nobody wants to talk. At least tell me where your leader is, Goku would say to one of those who had him on his neck. The leader is Magenta. His office is on the last floor above, the terrified soldier would say. Goku would throw the soldier, making him leave the building by breaking the wall. Magenta, terrified, would call his scientists waiting to be able to fight Goku. Come on, they have to be ready once and for all. They're attacking us, Magenta would say on the phone. Sir, there is still no proof. Although don't hurry, but we don't know what will happen if we give him life now, the scientist would say. If you don't wake him up, they will finish us, Magenta would say out loud. The ground near Magenta would break. Goku would enter by force, destroying the entire floor. Magenta would fall to the ground terrified. You are Magenta? Goku would seriously ask. No, I'm just an employee. Magenta would say nervous when trying to get out of that situation. Goku would observe the rest of the office. He would see several pictures of Magenta everywhere. Do you want to see my stupid face? Goku would say in certainty. I know it's you. Of course you are the leader of the Red Ribbon Army. Yes, it's true. Magenta would say when standing up. He would recover from his nerves. A few years ago, there was an incident that destroyed the facilities. Because of that, I almost lost my life,
Most of my body was reconstructed. I'm not surprised you were still alive. Bulma must have given you her technology to keep you young. Goku would throw a laser beam from his finger, which would barely touch Magenta's cheek. He would be petrified of fear. Don't tell me your life either, Goku would say while pulling in some more air. I just came to take care of you for what you just did to me. What are you talking about? Magenta would ask. Don't play dumb. You caused me an illusion and played with my mind. I will never forgive you for that, Goku would say.
I really have no idea what you're talking about, Magenta would say. Yes, a few days ago my organization attacked the laboratories of the Capsule Corporation, but no one directed an attack at you. We thought you were already dead. Stop pretending, Goku would say. Damn it, I have to get out of here, Magenta would think. Okay, I'll tell you if you ask so much, Magenta would say when approaching a shelf full of books. I warn you that if you try something, you will pay dearly, Goku would threaten. Don't worry, I'm not in a position to do anything, Magenta would say. Magenta would move a book from the shelf. It would retreat, hiding behind the wall. A well would be seen on the ground, and Magenta would jump into it to escape. Tramp bastard, Goku would say. Goku would undoubtedly jump into the well. He would fall into a gigantic metal duct. After a few seconds, he would arrive at a strange laboratory. What is this place? Goku would wonder confused as he observed everywhere. On the planet of Beerus, Vegeta would be training hard. Beerus would snore in a beach chair in the garden while the angel cooked. Beerus's mouth would ring. It was a call from Bulma. Mr. Beerus, can you answer? Beerus would ask from afar, since he was busy with the oven. Beerus would not answer. He was in a deep sleep. Mom, don't you answer? Trunks would ask. No, I don't know what's going on, Bulma would say. Heavens, Whis, answer for once. Damn it, I just hope Mr. Goku is with them, Trunks would say. Goku is very unnoticed. I wouldn't be surprised if he went with them, Bulma would say. I'm still worried about knowing where he is. 17 and 18 would arrive at the Capsule Corporation. Do you know anything about Goku? Bulma would ask. Nothing, no trace of him, 18 would answer. Damn it, where did he go? Bulma furious would ask. Meanwhile, Goku was going through the laboratory in search of Magenta. I finally found you, disgusting worm, Goku would say when he found Magenta. Magenta was with a group of scientists, although they all looked terrified. So you arrived. Get ready, because you'll face the perfect rival for you, Magenta would say. Sir, I beg you to consider it. It is not safe to release him. We do not know what his behavior will be, the scientist warned, but Magenta did not seem to want to agree. I do not care. Release him now, or I will fire you, Magenta would order. What the hell are you talking about? Goku, confused, would ask. After Magenta's order, a capsule would open. A strange being of great size would be seen there. He had large muscles, similar to those of Brawly, and long black hair. The being would open his eyes. These would shine red. He had a small metal mask that covered his mouth. He has an amazing power, Goku would say, alert. The being, taking a few steps forward, would begin to move to loosen up. At that moment, a monkey tail would be seen. It cannot be. It's a Saiyan, Goku would say, terrified. Meanwhile, Whis would finally answer his call. Bulma had not stopped calling. Whis, why did it take you so long to answer? Bulma would shout out loud. Oh, don't get like that. I was very busy in the kitchen. Tell me, can I help you with something? The angel would ask. I need to know if Goku is there, Bulma would say. No, he has not come. We thought of going to look for him tomorrow that we would go on a visit. Damn it, Goku doesn't appear and I'm afraid something will happen to him, Bulma would say. Oh, Miss Bulma, don't worry. What could happen to him? Whis would say, worried. That strange Saiyan would begin to raise his ki. He manifested dark energy around him. Damn, what kind of subject is this? Goku would ask. A living being, created artificially based on Saiyan DNA, Magenta would explain.
After creating so many androids and being defeated by you, what better way to fight them with their own race? Are you crazy? The Saiyans are a laboratory game, Goku would say. Now you'll see, Magenta would say. My creation is called Cumber. Now, Cumber, attack that subject, Magenta would order. Cumber watched Magenta in a threatening way. Magenta would be terrified just like the rest of the scientists. Sir, I beg you to consider it. It is not safe to release him. We do not know what his behavior will be, the scientist warned, but Magenta did not seem to want to agree. I do not care. Release him now, or I will fire you, Magenta would order. What the hell are you talking about? Goku, confused, would ask. After Magenta's order, a capsule would open. A strange being of great size would be seen there. He had large muscles similar to those of Broly, and long black hair. The being would open his eyes. These would shine red. He had a small metal mask that covered his mouth. He has an amazing power, Goku would say, alert. The being, taking a few steps forward, would begin to move to loosen up. At that moment, a monkey tail would be seen. It cannot be! It's a Saiyan! Goku would say, terrified. Meanwhile, Whis would finally answer his call. Bulma had not stopped calling. Whis, why did it take you so long to answer? Bulma would shout out loud. Oh, don't get like that. I was very busy in the kitchen. Tell me, can I help you with something? The angel would ask. I need to know if Goku is there, Bulma would say. No, he has not come. We thought of going to look for him tomorrow that we would go on a visit. Damn, Goku doesn't appear and I'm afraid something will happen to him, Bulma would say. Oh, Miss Bulma, don't worry. What could happen to him? Whis would say. Worried. That strange Saiyan would begin to raise his ki. He manifested dark energy around him. Damn, what kind of subject is this? Goku would ask. A living being, created artificially based on Saiyan DNA, Magenta would explain. After creating so many androids and being defeated by you, what better way to fight them with their own race? Are you crazy? The Saiyans are a laboratory game, Goku would say. Now you'll see, Magenta would say. My creation is called Cumber. Now, Cumber, attack that subject, Magenta would order. Cumber watched Magenta in a threatening way. Magenta would be terrified just like the rest of the scientists. Sir, I beg you to consider it. It is not safe to release him. We do not know what his behavior will be, the scientist warned, but Magenta did not seem to want to agree. I do not care. Release him now, or I will fire you, Magenta would order. What the hell are you talking about? Goku, confused, would ask. After Magenta's order, a capsule would open. A strange being of great size would be seen there. He had large muscles similar to those of Broly, and long black hair. The being would open his eyes. These would shine red. He had a small metal mask that covered his mouth. He has an amazing power, Goku would say, alert. The being, taking a few steps forward, would begin to move to loosen up. At that moment, a monkey tail would be seen. It cannot be. It's a Saiyan, Goku would say, terrified. Meanwhile, Whis would finally answer his call. Bulma had not stopped calling. Whis, why did it take you so long to answer? Bulma would shout out loud. Oh, don't get like that. I was very busy in the kitchen. Tell me, can I help you with something? The angel would ask. I need to know if Goku is there, Bulma would say. No, he has not come. We thought of going to look for him tomorrow that we would go on a visit. Damn, Goku doesn't appear and I'm afraid something will happen to him, Bulma would say. Oh, Miss Bulma, don't worry. What could happen to him? Whis would say, worried. That strange Saiyan would begin to raise his ki. He manifested dark energy around him. Damn, what kind of subject is this? Goku would ask. A living being, created artificially based on Saiyan DNA, Magenta would explain. After creating so many androids and being defeated by you, what better way to fight them with their own race? Are you crazy? The Saiyans are a laboratory game, Goku would say. Now you'll see, Magenta would say. My creation is called Cumber. Now, Cumber, attack that subject, Magenta would order.
I still have more seeds, so I have to try, Goku would say. Goku would very carefully turn into Super Saiyan. At first, everything seemed to go well. Well, my body tolerates it, at least for now. Goku would throw himself with everything towards Cumber. He would arrive with a strong kick in his chest that would throw him away. Now I will finish you, Goku would say. Confident, Goku would notice that his muscles were numb, although he did not feel pain. I feel heavy, and I just do not have to force my ki, Goku would say. Goku would start fighting against Cumber. Now I could hold a fair fight. If I only had the state of before, I would finish it with a single blow, Goku would say. At that moment, Ganos would be next to Chanza. They watched Goku closely. Goku is getting used to his body, Chanza would say. Yes, I could notice it, Ganos would say, upset. I think we'll have to do something. If we don't finish it now, Quitella will disappear from us. Wait, what if they discover us? Chanza would ask. With you being the ones who were spying on us, Trunks would say behind them. Damn, Ganos would say, terrified. We have to fight him, Chanza would say. Trunks with a single kick would throw Chanza far away. I think we're just you and me, Trunks would say. Don't get confused with me. My colleague was not a warrior. I am, Ganos would say, seriously. What could happen now that Goku is fighting against Cumber? Who will win between Trunks and Ganos? And also, will Goku discover the truth about the betrayal of Quitella? We will know all that in the next part of this theory. And well, friends, I hope you liked the compilation movie. Remember that if you want to see more parts, other movies, and more compilations, this video has to reach 8,000 likes, many comments, and subscribe for more theories. See you in the next part.